Good afternoon, everyone. Can you all hear me okay? That's wonderful.
Yes.
Welcome to the Meet the Irvine Candidates Forum. This forum is designed for the Asian American community to get to know the candidates who may be the future leaders in Irvine. My name is Cheer Pan, your MC and moderator for today's forum. Hosting this forum has been a tradition for the South Coast Chinese Cultural Center for the past 20 years. And we're so very honored to have our partners in the Asian American community to co-organize today's forum. 各位朋友，大家好，欢迎大家来参加尔湾亚裔问政会。我是今天的主持人潘琪儿。您有可能是第一次参加，但是南海岸文化中心举办问政会已有20多年的历史了。今年呢，又特别的开心，能扩大与10多个亚裔非营利组织合办。这是大尔湾地区亚裔社团首度公开合作的问政会。在开始之前，我们要特别感谢一下各合办社团，并感谢各社团负责人拨冗莅临。由于时间有限，就不一一介绍。But please allow me to introduce our co-organizers. They are Asian American Senior Citizens Service Center, Chinese American Association of Orange County, Cambodian Family Community Center, Irvine Chinese School, Irvine Evergreen Chinese Senior Association, Korean American Center, KCS, Korean Community Center, Korean Community Service, Orange County Asian and Pacific Islander Community Alliance, Orange County Chinese American Chamber of Commerce, Orange County Chinese American Chamber of Commerce Foundation, Orange County Herald Center, South Coast Chinese Cultural Center. Thank you all for all you do for our community. 再次感谢各合办社团的付出。In the forum, each candidate will have 2 minutes to introduce him or herself, 1 minute to answer questions which are pre-submitted by the community members, and 2 minutes for his or her closing statement. There will be a timer displayed on the screen to keep track of time. At this time, if you're not a candidate for the Mayoral Candidate Forum, please turn off your camera and remain muted for the entire session. If as an audience member you have any questions, please feel free to type them in the chat room. We will ask the candidates to address them if time allows. 今天的问政会会分为3部分。首先呢，各位候选人会有2分钟的自我介绍，之后他们会有1分钟回答我们从您的报名表中收集的问题，最后他们会做2分钟的总结陈述。您可以在聊天室写出您的问题，如果时间允许，我们会请候选人作答。Now, please allow me to introduce the candidates for the mayoral election. The order of the introduction will be based on their confirmation of attending today's forum. Please wave to the audience when you hear your name. We have Farah Kong. Thank you, Farah. Brenda Lin. Thank you, Brenda. Simon Moon. Thank you, Simon. And Tom Chomain. Thank you, Tom. And thank you all again for coming. We will start with Mayor Kong for her introduction.
Thank you so much and good afternoon. I want to thank the organizers for hosting today's forum. You know, a little less than 2 years ago, our city was struggling through the pandemic and had leadership that was irresponsible to the social injustice issues we were faced with. When I was elected mayor, the first Asian female to lead our city, I turned that all around. Since January of 2021, with my leadership, I created the COVID-19 task force and opened small vaccination clinics and a drive-through vaccination site at the Great Park. I also worked closely with our small businesses through Irvine Cares and established a business reopening task force. And through this work, we came out of the pandemic as one of the most vaccinated cities in Orange County. With the support of my colleagues on the council, we established a DEI committee, who have been reviewing our city's policies and providing much needed input for our diverse community. And during the rise of anti-Asian hate, we signed on to a resolution and established an online hate reporting portal with access in 7 different languages that became a model for the entire state. I have stood strong with our community against hate in any form and will continue to do so. Our city's diversity is our strength. And this year we celebrated Mid-Autumn Festival, Pride, Juneteenth, and Hispanic Heritage. These are all inaugural events that we never celebrated before. And in these short years, I initiated the Innovation Council, establishing Irvine as the innovation hub, and am working on a municipal farm to end food insecurity in our city. All this has happened while I maintained our economic and environmental sustainability. Our city is a safe city, and we're moving forward by taking the lead on environmental initiatives and remaining fiscally strong. The work I've done is why I'm the only candidate endorsed by the Irvine Police Association, the Orange County Firefighters, Sierra Club, and so many more. I look forward to the discussion today. Thank you.
That's perfectly timed. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mayor Kong. And next, please welcome Brenda Lin.
Thank you to the South Coast Chinese Cultural Center for hosting this event. A little bit about myself. I was born and raised in Irvine. I attended every level of public school here, El Camino Real, Elementary School, Venado, Irvine High School, and completed my undergraduate studies at UCI with a bachelor's in music performance and political science. Professionally, I've worked as a litigation paralegal for over 20 years in New York City and Orange County. Now I'm a mother to 2 children who attend Cypress Village Elementary School, and if elected, I would be the only council member with school-age children. Having watched nearly every city council meeting in the last 4 to 5 years, I'm well-versed on the challenges facing Irvine. In 2018, I, along with a group of dedicated Irvine residents across all political parties, started a nonprofit called Irvine Watchdog, and we've been reporting on the decisions being made at City Hall to promote transparency, accountability, and honesty. I also served as an Irvine Community Services Commissioner for 2 years. In the past several years, I've helped numerous community groups navigate our local government regardless of my personal position, because I believe everybody deserves to be heard. I'm running for mayor because things have taken a real turn in the last year and a half. Irvine has an ongoing FBI investigation involving public corruption, an ACLU letter regarding censorship, a letter from the League of Women Voters against an undemocratic agenda policy, and an Orange County grand jury report regarding the OC Power Authority. If we can affect change anywhere, it's here at home. Reflecting on our city's history, even the history of how the South Coast Chinese Cultural Center came to be, there's so much good we can do on the local municipal level. It just takes focused leadership, working with and listening to the community, which I've been doing on the grassroots level for years. I believe in a strong local democracy, issue-focused leadership that is solution-oriented and that listens to the residents. City Hall, after all, is the people's hall, and our voices deserve priority. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Brenda. Now let's welcome Simon Moon.
Good afternoon, Irvine residents. I'm so pleased to be asked to attend the South Coast Chinese Cultural Center Mayor Forum today. My name is Simon Moon, your candidate for Irvine Mayor. Currently, I'm in the Army Reserve as a military chaplain and a local pastor at Irvine Only Church. Irvine is a world-class master plan city. We are one of the top cities in America for our expansive park systems, open space preserve, and known throughout the US as being an award-winning family-friendly community with excellent schools. I moved to this beautiful city 10 years ago with my wife, and we are raising our 3 children in Park Lane community. Over the past several years, I have experienced, as many residents have experienced, as a downturn in our quality of life in many of our villages and in our city overall. This is why I decided to run for mayor of Irvine. I want to return our city back to the model city I chose as my home to raise my kids. As a new mayor, I will enhance our public safety department to keep Irvine safe. I will maintain lower taxes and a balanced city budget. I want to ensure we create a better traffic signalization system for better traffic flow. I want to protect our North Irvine residents from the American asphalt pollution and do what we must to protect our residents. I believe our Great Park neighborhoods need their promised retail center built immediately. The issue of the Orange County Public Utility Power Authority is facing serious management and transparency issues. I encourage our residents in our city to consider remaining with the lower rate service provider until all the audit reviews are completed. Irvine is a nationally recognized city. Let's retain the success. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Simon. And I see our candidate, Catherine Daigle, is also here today. Catherine, are you able to turn on your camera?
This morning, I had some back problems.
Oh, I'm so sorry about that.
I have not actually got up out of bed. So my daughter is here working the buttons, and I have my microphone in front of me.
Okay, thank you so much for coming, even though you have some health issues. We really appreciate it.
Oh, no, that's fine. Thank you.
Yes, so it's perfect. Can we hear your introduction, and you will have 2 minutes to do so.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I moved here to Irvine about 30 years ago, and it was my choice here specifically to raise my daughter because of the one great public schools that were offered so many years ago. And of course, the quality of life and safe neighborhoods. So we settled here in Irvine to raise her and get her educated so she can now become what she is a doctor. She'll be going to London here in January to do her clinicals. So Irvine is and was the best place for us to live, for us to raise the family, own a home. That was a long time ago. Now we're trying to fight to have a voice on how to keep our families together and move forward in a different and difficult time in our country, when the economy is taking a deep dive and inflation will be excruciating to weather the storm. Cost to raise your family has been and will seem to be similar as the 1990s. So may I suggest everyone buckle up, because we need to get rid of the critical race theory. We need to get rid of the people running the OCPA. They're frauds. And therefore, I don't believe we have a solid tax base to do infrastructure planning, build cities. We've got possible litigation with the OCPA, possible litigation on All-American Asphalt. So I know we need to clear up and clean up that city council and get rid of these politicians that are in there just taking tax dollars to fund their personal projects. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Catherine. Next, please welcome Tom Choman.
Good afternoon, and thank you so much, South Coast Chinese Cultural Center, for hosting this for almost 20 years. That is fantastic. I think it's a great start here. My name is Tom Choman. I've lived here for 25 years. One of the reasons I moved to California was growing up back in Indiana, and in college I was in environmental affairs and urban planning. And in one of my urban planning classes back in Indiana, they asked me to do, how can we build a city of Irvine with all this property versus a city of Oakland that has borders on it that you can't build? And obviously it was a lot easier working with the 14,000 acres of Irvine to build up and plan community in that class. 20 years later, my wife and I moved to Irvine. She grew up in Pasadena. We live on a cul-de-sac that there's so many here, and neither one of us grew up on a cul-de-sac. But what got me into the first run at politics in this particular position as mayor of Irvine is part of the Veterans Committee that started 3.5 years ago that I helped get 19,780 signatures to build a Veterans Memorial Park and Cemetery in Irvine on the property that so many Marines flew through. And we did that on May 12th, 2020. The city council approved it as it was. And I'm very disappointed in this current city council and the mayor for not moving forward with what the citizens want to do. Matter of fact, they shoved the veterans out of here. They want to put them in Gypsum Canyon in Anaheim. And I want to let the veterans know I have your back. Veterans of Irvine, veterans of Orange County, veterans of California, I'm fighting for you. One of my first goals as mayor will be to sign a 20-acre memorial park instead of the 6 acres that is currently proposed by the city council. And that will be done on the first day of office. So thank you very much and look forward to more conversations.
Thank you very much, Tom. And now we're going to proceed to the pre-selected questions section. And as a reminder, each of you will have 1 minute to answer the questions, and we will rotate the orders. But the first order will be starting with Mayor Kang. And then, so the first question is, if elected, what are the top 3 priorities you want to accomplish during your term in office?
Thank you so much. You know, one of the top 3 priorities, there are a lot, but the top 3 really are making sure that we are taking care of our housing needs, making sure that we are really working towards providing the environmental programs we need in order to become carbon neutral by 2030. And third is working on our transportation system. Right now, we have an active, we have a transit vision study going on, which is about to be completed, which means we're going to have ability to have micro transit within our neighborhoods and within our small areas and zones where we can have kids going to school on those shuttles, and that we can have people going to their local shopping centers and to the Spectrum, providing more opportunities for people to get out of their cars and use public transit. So I'm really looking forward to those 3. Thank you.
Wonderful. Now let's ask the same question, Brenda.
Okay. The 3 top priorities, I believe the first is the Orange County Power Authority. Our city has invested and spent $7.7 million, as well as we took out a $35 million line of credit loan. And right now we're waiting for the city, the county, as well as the state to come back with an audit. We need to see if this is viable. If not, it may be on Irvine taxpayers to help get this back on track or to fix the problem. So we need to restructure the OCPA. It's been mismanaged for too long. I believe we also need to get a climate action plan forward. Our city celebrated moving forward with one, and we've invested tax dollars into starting one, but we still don't have one yet. Another big one is the All-American Asphalt plant. The residents in the North Irvine area have been asking and wanting leadership on this to have it relocated. It's because it's a really, at the end of the day, it's a public health and a public safety concern. So those are some of the bigger issues I'd like to address. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brenda. Same question for Simon.
Thank you so much. Top 3 that I want to work with as a mayor. It's going to be, first one is my fight for the public safety. The city of Irvine is more than 328,000 residents. We're still growing, so we need to plan for a strong public safety department budget on an annual basis. So public safety for our schools and community is my top priority. And also, I'm going to work for and fight for transparency in our budgeting. We have so many issues about the prioritizing budget spending. We must prioritize our spending to reflect the priority needs and necessary municipal services. I'll make sure to have that transparency for the budget spending. I will bring it back to all the taxpayers. And also, our Great Park families are paying a lot of taxes for Great Park without proper amenities and developed for their community. I believe we must insist their planned local retail services be under construction in 2023, for which these residents have paid for it.
Thank you, Simon. Yeah. Thank you very much. Same question, Catherine.
Thank you. My top 3, actually I have 5, but the top 3 is what we're going to circle right back to the Irvine Unified School District. I want to make sure our children does not be involved in this critical race theory. It's being taught along with BLM propaganda, and every one of the board of directors for the school board signed it, an agreement, a contract in last year's prior to school beginning in September. I want it gone. Children need to be able to learn math and science the way it's always been taught. The OCPA, the top 2 people need to be removed, recalled and removed. They have stolen taxpayer dollars. The AAA, All-American Asphalt, they need to be shut down now. Litigation needs to begin so we know what is
Thank
going
you.
on the earth. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. Same question, Tom.
Good afternoon. Yes, my top 3 priorities when I become mayor, as the first one is definitely the first piece of legislation will be a 20-acre veterans park, not a 6-acre park that's currently proposed. They gave us 1,400 acres. I think they deserve more than 6 acres. Second, OCPA. That will be the second piece of legislation that I will remove from the city office. As a conservative Republican, I don't think we need more government. I think we need less government. Something like this should be given to the experts at Southern California Edison. They know more than I do, and I don't think I should be taken on a task as a mayor to run an electric company. I came to run it for the people. And third, the AAA asphalt plant, which is a touchy subject. I think our current mayor wants to try to get something done the next 2 or 3 years. I want a 1-year plan to work with them. They own the property. It's a very delicate situation, but we need to protect our citizens in that area, and we need to move that AAA asphalt plant with good negotiations. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your answers. Second question, and then this time around, we'll have Brenda to answer the question first. Okay. The question is, what is your position on district elections? Should Irvine change to district elections? Please explain.
Thank you for this question. Absolutely, we need to switch to district elections. Among the 16 largest cities in California, Irvine is still the only one using at-large elections. The current system, it doesn't obligate any council member to be answerable to any neighborhood. And the at-large system, it actually makes it very difficult to run a viable campaign. It's cost prohibitive for people who lack major funding, perhaps from corporate donors, political action committees, or labor unions. And the political ads and their mailers that they put out that are funded by special interest groups, they've totaled over $1 million sometimes in our elections. And for the average city council member or city council candidate, the average funds are less than 40,000 that we can fundraise. So I believe absolutely we need to get this on the ballot to give the voters a choice in the city of Irvine to switch to district elections. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Same question, Simon.
Yes, thanks for asking this question. This is still controversial issues especially in our city of Irvine, but I do support for district election to represent many people as they have their own concern in their town. We are still expanding, we're growing. So to represent our residents well, I believe the district election will be a very good way to represent their issues and their voices, bring to the city council. So yes, I support that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Same question for Catherine.
Thank you. I do believe in district elections. I believe Irvine's violating the California Voters' Right Act by continuing to elect members of city council at large. We all wonder why that they don't want to do this. Actually, I stuck my head out and found out they don't want to lose the power. And this is happening, at least from my side. The OCGOP chairman does not want to lose the power over the city. So I use an example, which is the Great Park. Right now, there are people very upset and possibly getting sick from All-American Asphalt. I don't see one council member up there that has stepped up and put it on the agenda and to make it close down until they get good science proof that they are not killing the residents or hurting their children. So I really want to make sure that this is taken care of right away.
Thank you very much. Okay, same question, Tom.
Good afternoon. Well, I strongly support district elections. I think as our city is growing, We haven't had the good representation, and certainly the asphalt plant is a great example of someone up in the northeast section of the area that has no support except for Larry Agron, I think, that has tried to get this on the council, and no one will second it. But I'm disappointed the city has not been a leader in this regard, but rather has had to drag along threats of lawsuits. We need residents to be heard and to be listened to. And with the current size of our council and every growing population in the city, that is not happening. I know we have now missed the opportunity to put district election on the ballot, but I would, within the first 90 days, moving into office, put district on the ballot for the city. I know other cities have done this first, ask their city population to weigh in before engaging. However, so would I move to first put this on the issue as soon as practical for the voters and let the voters decide, not the city council. District elections, we need it here in Irvine. Thank you.
Thank you all very much. Next, same question, Mayor Khan.
Thank you. This is a little difficult because one, the pros of going to district is, yes, you have a smaller area that you run from. It may be cost effective to run from a smaller area, but we also have to understand we're not violating the California Voting Rights Act. Right now, we don't have any enclaves of particular communities. So we don't have an API community that's missing. We don't have a Hispanic community that's missing. And so as a diverse community that's integrated throughout the city, we're going to be able, what's going to happen with district elections is you might lose your API voices on the council. So we have to be very careful in taking this forward. I am supportive of district elections if they're done the right way so we don't lose our API voices. Right now we have 3 APIs on the council. That's the most we've ever had in our history. And so as we move forward, we want to make sure we're taking those careful steps.
Thank you all very much for answering question number 2. Now we'll move to question number 3. And the first person will answer the question is Simon. The question is, Irvine prides itself on being ethnically diverse and culturally inclusive. As mayor, what would you do to maintain or help improve this image?
Thanks for asking this question. Irvine is diverse city. Yes. We respect all the cultural aspects and their backgrounds, bring it to our city and make it more stronger. And I believe to be more stronger while we maintaining this diversity culture, we have to maintain the common shared value, which is based on the value from our nation. That is, I think that's necessary to hold this strong, diverse cultural background in our city. So I'm going to reach out to all these residents and ethnic groups to remind them whether we share this shared value, then making more stronger city and making more diverse city based upon that value. Then I'll reach out to all these the ethnic groups to make sure to bring all their powers much more stronger for our city. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Same question, Catherine.
Thank you. I've always felt since I moved here that Irvine has been a wide and diverse community. Every neighborhood, every village, for example, the one I live in, Woodbridge, my whole street is completely different in ethnicities, in religion. We celebrate them, we honor them, and we love them. There is no difference in our communities, whether you're Asian, Black, Mexican, Jewish, nothing. That we have a beautiful city. It is absolutely the best place to live. The only problem I'm going to go right back to is this critical race theory, which is bringing gender-based and bringing in race-based learning. And that's a problem. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Same question, Tom.
Thank you. I was pretty blessed the first 28 years of my sales career in technology. I was able to work with 3 multinational companies, Panasonic, LG, and TCL, all based out of Asia. How I moved to Irvine, you already heard that story. And I was just blessed that my 3 children could grow up in such a diverse city with so many different cultures, eat different food, meet different people, see what they do. And, when my daughter went back to school in Indiana, she got to bring some of that with her and share that with the students back at Indiana University. And I just think, she just grew up knowing cultural diversity is part of the lifestyle. And that's how I wanted her to grow up. That's how I grew up back in Indiana in a different area. And I want to keep that going. The cultural festival that we're having next month is a great example to keep that going strong after 20 years. And I'll be part of that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Same question for Mayor Khan.
Thank you. Making sure that our communities feel safe is very important. We are a very culturally diverse community. We're very integrated throughout the city. However, we're not immune to the hate that we faced. We faced hate for our Asian community. We faced hate for our Jewish community, our LGBTQ community. And each and every time I've stood up against any form of hate and stood strong that we will not tolerate hate in our city. And again, I'll share with you the work that we've been doing, meeting these community groups, making sure that we're taking their input before we put out celebrations. So all the ethnic celebrations that we've had in the past 2 years are a result of our communication with our diverse communities. And we hope to continue doing that, making sure that they not only have a voice at the table, but that they are celebrated throughout the city so more people can get to know one another and really be familiar with their neighbors.
Thank you so much. Same question for Brenda.
Thank you. One way we can make our ethnic community stronger, I have a passion to inform residents, to empower residents. That was the heart of why I did my work on Irvine Watchdog. I think we need to make it easier for all our ethnic communities to be informed. I want to increase transparency on local matters. So what we can do is, as mayor, I'll make sure that our city creates a relationship with all the local ethnic media sources, the outlets, the newspapers, as well as the TV stations, so that they get information on agenda items before they're voted on, to give residents a chance to be informed on the issues and make their voice heard before the vote, and also what happened and transpired after. Local issues, they direct us most directly. And at the end of the day, I think more resident engagement only makes it stronger. I also want to increase cultural arts. We used to have a cultural arts commission or committee in the city. And because of all the talent out there and the diversity, I think that's something that needs to be brought back. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, everyone, for answering question number 3. Now we have another question, number 4, which will be answered by Catherine first. Now, the question goes, as mayor, how do you plan to be inclusive of the other side in bringing together a cohesive city council?
Could you clarify by the other side?
I believe the question meaning people who have different opinions.
Oh, well, I'm a firm believer in working with people as a team. I strongly encourage forming relationships with other municipal officials within the state and within the city, including the county, especially those with similar populations and who are facing actually some of the same issues that we face. It is also important that as officials, we look to other cities that have accomplished goals that we are now trying to attain here in Irvine. And that, I think, is extremely important today. Receiving quality advice from other officials and also from voters across the board, regardless of whether you're a mainstream Democrat, mainstream Republican, or as I am a conservative, I am absolutely in favor of working with them.
Thank
we
you.
Don't have needless errors.
Thank you very much. Same question for Tom.
Thank you. And yeah, that's a great question, inclusivity on the city council. Again, I think at this point, we really have a decently, fairly diverse council right now, but we all have different opinions. That's why people are running for city council and mayor. But I think for myself, as I become mayor in the city, I would go out to the people first in 5 different districts at nightly or Saturday meetings in the first 2 months of my position, get the voice of the people, and then at the city council meetings, talk about what I heard, share with the city council, try to bring all of us together. It's not going to always happen, but I think that's part of communicating with everybody on the city council and trying to come up with one plan, one agreement, and move forward. So bring this populace in and share it with the city council and work together. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tom. Same question for Mayor Khan.
Thank you. That's exactly what I've been doing these past few years, is working together with my colleagues, regardless of what their backgrounds are, what their priorities are. We have done an amazing job of really transforming the council from one that has a lot of infighting to almost no infighting. We want to be there to serve the community, and that's something that I have shown my leadership in, making sure that their voices are heard, and yet we work together, we compromise, and we collaborate. That's very important. Pointing fingers at anyone is not leadership. And honestly, one person cannot make all the decisions. It's a team effort. It takes 3 votes to get anything done. And that's what I look forward to continuing on, is working together with all my colleagues, not just on the city council, but also statewide and nationwide.
Thank you so very much. Same question for Brenda.
Thank you. I believe good leadership always starts with being able to listening. And I think it's really important that we go back to town halls as well. You know, these public hearings that we have at city council, Great Park Board meetings, as well as town halls, that's an opportunity to disseminate information openly, where everybody on every side of an issue gets to hear and obtain the same information. And I think that's very important. What we often see is, you know, smaller groups of people meeting with elected officials separately, and sometimes they get information that's different from one group to another. And I think that's why it's very important to bring everybody to the table together in a town hall setting. I'm a big fan of open discussions, everything being disseminated to everybody at the same time so that we hear and obtain the same information. And that's why I love municipal government. These are nonpartisan seats. And if we just look at my campaign, I have support from every political party and spectrum, and we get along because we focus on issues and focus on solutions. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Same question for Simon.
Thank you. It's all about service. As a pastor administering 1,000 people in Irvine, and also our military officer to serve our military personnel from all over the world. One thing I'm considering is the mission. When we have a mission, share the mission, then when we focus on the mission to be accomplished, then we can move forward. Even we have different point of view and the value and the background, that's fine. When we listen carefully about the other residents for our city, to accomplish our city mission, we can move together. Actually, I met another one of the candidates about a week ago. We shared a lot of our philosophies. Then I felt like, oh, we can move forward. We can work together, even we have a different background and different point of view. That's it. All about the service. We can move together, work together, love each other. Thank you very much.
Thank you all for answering all 4 questions. Those are all wonderful answers. Next, we'll move to your closing statements. As a reminder, you will have 2 minutes to do so, and we will reverse the order. So Tom will go first.
All right. Wow. That's a nice surprise. But that's fair. Thank you very much. You know, one of the things I've been proud of living here for 25 years is certainly a master plan community. I want to keep that going. I want to get a great plan in the great park. I think the city council is trying to get that going on the task force. I want to keep that going. I want to be able to, our city, I believe, is going to grow out to size about 375,000. With that, there's going to be, I hear people are telling me about petty crimes and break-ins in houses, which we need more police staff. We've only added 9 policemen in the last 4 years on the Irvine Police Department, yet our population has probably grown 60 or 70,000. So I think that would be a priority of mine getting started also. Want to be out there more with the community and getting their input. I know it takes a little more time on my side, but I'd like to have some meetings at 7 p.m. at night like I talked about. I want to get to know the different areas whether we have district elections or not. I want to pretend we have district elections and put 5 districts out there in 5 communities so they have a voice for the city council meetings. And that's something that I feel will get a lot of input back, and I can share with the city council and the whole community. So it's, and definitely going back to this, veterans, I'm on your back. I want to build a 20-acre veterans park to represent you and the 1,400 acres that was used for the last 60 years in this city, that has built this city, that we're making great deals of tax dollars and profits off of. If we can spend $130 million on a beautiful amphitheater that was approved Tuesday night, I think we can find a little more money to build a larger veterans park than 6 acres. Thank you, and everybody have a great day.
Thank you so much, Tom. Next, let's hear from Catherine.
Thank you. I want to mimic some of the items that Tom just stated, because yes, we have not brought in any police officers of any amount for many years. I think it was 0.84. Oh, and that number seems to be always constant for the last 4 years. Although the Irvine Police Union continues to endorse the same candidates with no action from these candidates to keep our communities safe. So that kind of bothers me, and I'm not really sure why we keep doing this. Dark money is very important here, and that is also one of the reasons that we keep getting the same candidates in these elections that do nothing for the voters. One thing that has bothered me, very, very important, is to close the gaps between the voters and stop the council from silencing other council members. So when you can't get a second person to be able to bring something up on the agenda, that's terrible. That means any voters who wanted to hear what the councils wanted to say about whatever the reasonings are, again, with All-American my daughter keeps telling me at the time, All-American asphalt or anything else, it never gets up on the dais. They never talk about it. And if they do, it's in closed sessions. So we really need to make changes with new people. We need new people there that are going to push for the voters, that remember the voters are hiring us to do their job. So I thank you very much. It's been a pleasure, and I appreciate the time you've taken with me.
Thank you so much, Catherine. And now let's go to Simon.
All right. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Let me give all the residents a very simple statement. When I moved to Irvine 10 years ago, our quality of life was much different than today. Our crime numbers were pretty low, and our traffic flow was fluid, and our development plans more balanced. I believe, especially over the past several years, Irvine is in a decline, not on an upward path, and I want to make the changes needed to bring us back to a community we are all proud to live in. So we must ensure our residents' safety is our top priority, and provide balance to the growth and traffic flow, and ensure our residents, families, and children are protected. So my first duty will be to serve and protect Irvine residents. Let's restore our values. Let's rebuild our city. Let's arise and shine. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Simon. Now let's hear from Brenda.
Thank you. Our local elections, they matter. For the last 4 years, I've watched nearly every city council meeting and the vast majority of Orange County Power Authority meetings because I wanted to inform residents to empower residents. In this past year and a half, under the current leadership, our residents have been shut out in ways we have never seen in our city's history. And I believe very strongly that we need a new mayor, and that's why I decided to run. As mayor, there are large-scale and small-scale issues that I want to tackle. The large-scale issues include the Orange County Power Authority, the All-American Asphalt issue, getting a climate action plan going, and focusing on community benefits in every deal that comes up for approval. As mayor, on day one, I'm committed to increasing public engagement, ethics, and transparency. One, we need to strengthen our recusal policy and make sure that any council member who receives campaign contributions from any of the stakeholders with plans up for approval recuses themselves. Two, I want to ban cell phones from the dais to make sure our open meetings are indeed open and public and transparent. Three, I want to give the public an opportunity, not only at the beginning of the meeting to make public comments as we have now, but like we used to have before each agenda item again, to make public participation easier. Four, I want to give everybody their full 3 minutes per agenda item like we used to have to speak on all the public comments, regardless of the total number of speakers. And five, I believe we need to switch back to simultaneous voting. Currently, the city council is using a roll call voting system, and each council member is called on one by one, and it gives the last voting member an advantage by seeing what the votes are. And I think we need to go back to simultaneous voting. Government works best when it engages the community and listens to the residents to shape solutions that directly impact us. So please get out and vote, spread the word about the candidates you believe in, and thank you so much for taking the time to be here today, everybody. If we can affect change anywhere, it's here at home. And please visit my website, brandalyn.com, to get involved. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Brenda. Okay, now let's hear from Mayor Khan.
Great, thank you. And thank you again to all the organizers and to all of you for listening in. Leading the second largest city in Orange County and the 13th largest city in California isn't an easy task. I bring with me 8 years of experience as a regulatory affairs manager at a biotech firm, 18 years in small business, and 5 years in nonprofit work, plus my 2 years on the city council before being elected to mayor in 2020. As mayor, I have focused on solutions by collaborating with others, and I have set the standard at our council meetings to be respectful and courteous, even when we disagree. I know that my job is to represent our more than 310,000 residents and our businesses and workers. I know that they rely on my leadership and representation to make the right decisions, and I do so with great concern for our community's well-being. It's easy to criticize the work being done and spread misinformation to create unnecessary discourse. But what isn't easy is actually doing the work and collaborating with many different individuals, communities, and organizations to keep our city moving forward. I know that my credibility is under attack by my opponents and a political newspaper, but my record stands firm. From dealing with the pandemic to supporting our diverse communities to maintaining a robust budget, leading innovative programs, and keeping our city safe, I have delivered. And I look forward to continuing our work on housing, environmental programs, active transportation opportunities, and building the great park. I hope all of you will join me to keep our city safe, inclusive, financially stable, environmentally sustainable, and progressing forward. Together, we will continue to make Irvine the best place to live, work, and play. I thank you for this opportunity and humbly ask for your support and vote to continue serving as your mayor for the next 2 years. Thank you.
Thank you all so very much for your closing statements. At this time, I actually would like all of you to the mayoral candidates to turn on your camera so we can actually have a virtual group photos together. We want to thank you for your time and your excellent answers and introductions and just giving us the chance to get to know you. As you can see, we actually have a lot of great questions asked in the Q&A sections. And unfortunately, because of time, we cannot address all the questions, but we will be sending these questions to you individually, to each candidate. And if you could address them through your own channels, we would truly appreciate it. Yeah. So let's take a group picture together.